Well, after a night like Friday in Buffalo, where the Bruins lose 6-4 in a game that probably was not as close as the score indicated, yet was very close when all said and done, somehow, some way, Razor. Let's just get right to it. I mean, this is one of those, brass tacks type of thing. As we welcome you into Morning Brew with Jaffe and Razor, Bruins lose 6-4 to the Buffalo Sabres, so they win 2 of the 3 games in Buffalo, which, by the way, we thought that that's exactly what would happen. Although, are you with me on this? I thought they were going to win this game. I thought they were going to absolutely win this game, given that they won the first 2, and they're just going to be like, okay, let's not screw around. Let's get it done. Yet, and they had a good start, but after that Camphor goal, it was like, for about 45 minutes.
Yeah, first thing, Camphor's goal early was the worst thing that could happen to this team because just settled them right in. It'll be a 5-0. Yes, this was going to be the easiest win for them, I thought. I thought they had opportunities to lose the last 2, and they didn't. And I feel so uninterested about it. I didn't even put a hat on. I didn't put gel in my hair. Nothing. I went T-shirt. I went, all right, whatever. This is the comeback. This is what I feel about the comeback: is that no gel, no hair, no hat, nothing.
Yeah. So you're doing your best Boston Bruin right now. Right?
Exactly.
I went with kind of the old man hat, although it's a new hat. You kind of look like Elmer Fudd a little bit, in fact, come to think of it. You look like one of those, like celebs that, is caught in People magazine going out to get a coffee.
Ben Affleck after a night of poker.
Right. Yes, Ben. Yeah. And, we caught up. And look, he's just like us. His hair is all over the place, too.
I was going to run down and get a hat, and I was like, you know what? Buff didn't deserve it tonight. Didn't deserve it.
No, I agree. It's funny. With the co-host store, I had another one to debut, another new hat, and I couldn't do it. I could not do it. I looked at it, I reached for it, and I said, like you, I guess I had that moment of, no, let's just go with the standard old man hat and put it on there. And listen, the Bruins, the Camphor goal, beautiful. I'm thrilled for Camphor. He had a goal and 2 assists. Look, if we're going to use a rating system for guys, I give him hot, Absolutely. Man. I give him a hot cup of coffee because I'll tell you what, it's not easy doing what he does, and he does it well, the unknown. But the rest of the Bruins, and we're not going to go through the roster, the rest of the Bruins, I'd say for the most part, were you could just tell that they were Buffalo gassed, if that's such a term. And, they were just – but that's not an excuse. It is not an excuse. I know it happens. But they could never find a way to break through until, 6-7 minutes left in the game.
It's not an excuse, but they're also allowed to have that happen. Because every single other, and maybe not everyone follows all other 31 teams, or 30 other 30 teams, they all do this. They all have these happen. This was that game. So yes, there's no excuses, but this is what happens in this league on a normal basis, let alone what's going on right now, spending the amount of time in the hotel they did. And the reality is they look at the standings too. They know exactly where they sit. They understand that this game tonight wasn't nearly as important as the next couple games.
Mm-hmm. And I do think in the next couple of games, you will see an energy, a vibe, an intensity that will be significantly different than the 3 games that we saw in Buffalo. That I do think will provide that element, Razor, I think will provide a challenge for this team. Not that they can't raise their intensity. We've seen them do it. They had to do it against the Islanders. Man, oh man, did they do it. They did it against Washington after getting throttled in that 8-1 game 8 games ago, whatever that is now. And they stepped it up, right? But it's going to be really interesting to see, coming off a 3-game lower intensity threshold, how they react to an afternoon game on Sunday, and then, 2 games in Pitt, where, by the way, Pitt plays really damn well. Pitt, plays better at home.
They do. And there's a few things. One advantage is Pitt has to play Saturday afternoon. So they're the ones going.
Who are they playing? Do you remember?
They're going back
remember
to
who they're
back.
playing?
Is it Jersey? Do they have Jersey again Saturday afternoon?
I'll
Yeah.
check. Okay.
They've got back to back, so they'll eat that at home. So Pitt's still there, so it's not that big of a deal. And they're going to be more energized. They really will. This was a tough stretch to play Buffalo 3 times in a row. Yes, it's easy points, but it's also really hard as a player to get up for because this team's not up against it. It'll be a different energy, different vibe. It'll be a lot more fun to watch playing Pittsburgh. As much as it is for us fans to watch and be more excited, it's the same thing for players. So it'll be a different gig.
It will be very interesting. And we're not going to probably get an update on Saturday, but there's going to be a lot of eyes watching to see, or I guess ears listening to hear what Bruce Cassidy says about Patrice Bergeron and if he can play or not on Sunday. Is an interesting use of words in the postgame when Bruce said he's day for now until we hear something different. Okay, you want us to read into that, or is that just Bruce speak, and just, Butchie just being like, look, he's day to day, and until I hear more. I mean, Bruce in the morning had said that there were no changes to the forward lineup. We knew that Kevin Miller was coming in defensively and Clifton coming out, but no different lineup changes, no more changes. So, and I believe Bruce. I do. I absolutely believe him. So that says to me that Patrice came to the rink, or between when Bruce spoke and let's just say noon and 5 o'clock, 5:30, he either tried his boot on at one point or he tried to walk more and came there and just, it's sore, or I can't do it, or who knows. But that says to me that now, obviously, x-rays, this, that, everything got to come into play. But if it's from that shot block, which, right, we think it is, that he had, broken toes, some guys can handle, others can't.
Yeah, and I'll read a lot more into it on Sunday because I think this goes along with the whole Sabres narrative that we're talking about, and tonight was one of those nights that you're going to take it off if you can, and if it's not 1,000% for Patrice, then you know what, tonight just hang out and we'll see what we work with. So I believe Sunday afternoon will be a lot more telling when it comes to any injuries that guys have, specifically Patrice Bergeron, where he's at. If it is more serious than that random morning day to day or showing up to warm up and not feeling great, so tonight's not my night, they're going to be up for that game on a Sunday afternoon against Pittsburgh to gain points, to move up the standings. I feel like that's a big game. And they might slough it off, but I really think that you want to move up in the standings when you can. I think this gives them an opportunity that they haven't had in 7 days now, essentially. I think they're going to want to put their best effort on a national stage. So it'll be interesting to see where Patrice is then on Sunday. Tonight, I don't put much stock in it.
Yeah, again, Saturday, no Bruins skate, no Bruins media in Pittsburgh. So, if you need medical or whatever attention, you go take care of it. The trainer's set up, whether it's at the hotel or there's a part of the rink where you can go. But, who knows? I'm just going to assume they did an x-ray in Buffalo. Every rink has x-ray facilities right in it as part of their training facility. And if they didn't, then they're going to do it in Pitt. And let's hope. I mean, I don't want to go there right now if it's anything long-term with him. And I'm not talking a week. I'm talking if it's anything long-term with the foot for him. That would be just brutal for this team.
No, and I don't think, again, it'll take, we're still 6 days away from even talking about it because one night is no big deal at this point.
Exactly. All right, a couple of things just to get to. Tuukka Rask played. Tuukka Rask got pulled. The reason for him getting pulled had nothing to do with Tuukka Rask. I mean, the Bruins were just really awful managing the puck, especially through the neutral zone for a fair amount of this game. And then I thought the defense were doing a lot of kind of stick, it wasn't stick to the puck. It was just kind of stick to an area and they missed their marks. And like the middle stack goal, you had two guys taken. One guy was Olofsson, I believe, below the goal line, and Middlestat was alone. I mean, I don't think any of this was Tuukka's issue, but I do get why he got pulled, because get Yarrow some opportunity to get back in the lineup after being out for so long with COVID.
Yeah, for sure. It was that was the pull job, was to get Yarrow in. And it's interesting, and we could talk a little. Yarrow's on the bench tonight and not Swayman. Maybe Yarrow should have played the game itself. And it's interesting. It'll be interesting to see how they play out the next 10 days with three goalies, because all of a sudden we have three goalies, and who's going to play next. I thought it was interesting that Yarrow was there and he didn't play, and that Tuukka did get this rep, because, again, this was a weird game, a game that, if you're going to sit Tuukka out 2 games against Pittsburgh, to play him in this one was kind of odd. But back to the game tonight, Yarrow got to get Yarrow in if you can after the fourth goal. It's like, all right, time to go. And Tuukka wasn't. I mean, I love Tuukka, and I probably give him too much praise. The middle stack goal that you talked about, he could have pushed. He's pushed off harder on that post. He was a little lackadaisical coming off of that.
With that said, I wanted to ask you about the slap shot, the first goal, the power play
Same thing
goal,
with Reinhart.
where
right?
same thing like with Reinhart when he came over. I'm thinking that's a goal that Pasternak scores sometimes because he's Pasternak. No disrespect to Reinhart. The kid's having a nice year, got a hat trick. Okay, good for him. But I'm like, everybody didn't slide over. I mean, that's not a seam pass from side to side. That's a point to post or point to side pass. And I just also thought Tuukka didn't get there. I don't blame him. I just thought it was indicative of I guess, the whole team's play.
So it's perfect. Both of those, Reinhardt and Middlestats, they were NHL goals. They weren't from 400 to 200 feet away, but they're also saves that we typically see him drive into and make, where he's just a little bit behind maybe. So I just want to point that out, because I always am so biased with the goaltenders that, those are, if those go against the Bruins, score those goals on a goaltender, I'm probably saying, well, he probably should have been more active. He probably should. The Middlestat especially, I watched, and it's like he's behind that play when usually he's ahead of that play.
It was announced post-game that Swayman's going to start on Sunday. Now that we know that the Bruins are not going to have anything, not even an optional on Saturday in Pittsburgh, it makes sense to me. I thought they'd maybe go back with Tuukka just to start getting him into the physical rhythm, of every other. But no, you can't start him. I don't think I don't even know if Tuukka would have gone on the ice, I guess, if he hadn't on Saturday, but then he's not going to go on Sunday. So I didn't really think it out, but knowing that they've got no practice, there's no way you're going to start him on Sunday, right? There's no way.
It explains why he played tonight as well, because you don't want to not have him play for 6 days at this point. So he had to, if they're not skating Saturday, they're not skating Sunday, then he's not, it would have been 5 or 6 days for him to get on the ice. So he had to play tonight. That makes more sense. And it makes just as much sense to put the 22-year-old nimble Gumby guy in on an afternoon game after not skating for almost 48 hours than the other two guys who aren't prepared to do that unless absolute necessity.
Right. It'd be interesting to see who backs up. In my eyes, is it going to be Tuukka or will it be Yarrow? You got to think that Tuukka plays on Tuesday.
Yeah,
you have to.
Yeah. No, it'll be really bizarre if they don't. Yeah, these are playoff games against Pitt. These next 2 games, this is as close. They don't have any more. They don't play until they play the Islanders and Capitals at the end of May after the schedule is over. They don't have any. These are playoff games. It's a big deal. I think it's a big deal. Maybe it isn't for the guys there, but this feels like a big deal to me, these 2 games.
They're bigger deal. There's a legit chance that you end up facing. We know there's a legit chance you could face Pitt, Wash, or the Islanders, but Pitt seems to be, I don't know, just they're right there. They're in your sight. So these are bigger deals. And the team, I sure hope will treat it that way. But Tuukka, I would imagine now we know Swayman Sunday, Tuukka Tuesday. Maybe Yarrow comes
Yeah.
back after a bunch of practice and plays Thursday at home. First game at home after the trip, back against these same Buffalo Sabres. What do we make of Charlie Coyle? So did you when you heard that Patrice was out of the lineup? And I talked. When we heard about it, it was right when we saw them come out, and then all of a sudden, like, wait, where's Bergeron? And we see Miller wearing an A, and we didn't put two and two together immediately, but then we did when we got word no Bergeron. I said, okay, put Coyle with him, with Bergeron and Marchand and Pastrnak. See if we can get him going, especially given the way he played on Thursday night. Now, he's not a one-man show, and he doesn't have to be. I didn't think his line mates were great either, in the game, but I just didn't notice him enough. I fully admit I'm a fan, but this has been a tough year for him at times. It just hasn't been great. I mean, if Bergeron can't play Sunday, Razor, do you put Coyle back up there again, or do you put him back with Ritchie and DeBrusk?
I'm not sure. So I was listening on the radio. I was at Mace Man's soccer practice. So I was listening on the radio to Judd and Beersy. Patrice is out. And right away I was like, okay, Coyle's gone right to the top. They're not taking Krejci off the second line. Before they could announce that
Right.
I had a picture in my head of the lineup, and I could see them moving around. And all right, Coyle has an opportunity to maybe get a couple points, and then you watch the game, and then you watch the game sheet after, and he's -2, Pasternak's -2, Marchand's -2. And yeah, it's not a direct reflection on him, but I think it's a micro shot of his season. And that's where he's at. And it's hard because he knows it. He knows exactly what happened tonight, and as a player, you know it and you feel it especially when things are going bad. It's so much more pronounced. So now, to your question, I would probably leave him there again,
So as not to mess with the Krejci line, and
I think you have to keep the Krejci line because they're feeling. You just keep letting them get better and let them just keep marinating. I mean, you could take your strip loin out at 12 hours, but at 24 hours, it's even better. I think that's where those guys are at. I think Corrali, Lazar, and Wagner. You want to keep those guys in place, and then maybe Corrali and Ritchie and DeBrusk found a little love, right? They got their goal, so that.
Yeah. Well, Corrali got bumped up,
so that gets them. So I think you leave Coyle there, and in the same respect that you want him to maybe find his way, give him more than one game.
The real question, though, is what are you marinating your strip line in? That's the real question. Is this a Canadian?
No. We do a little.
Marinade,
We'll always do a little. What's the soy? Not soy sauce, like the soy, the thick soy. We do
the soyaki type of thing.
That's the go-to here with definitely Montreal steak seasoning all the time.
Oh, with Montreal, I like Montreal steak seasoning. I don't use it often.
That's Canadian,
but I like it.
Montreal steak seasoning. I do Montreal chicken or Montreal steak, depending on the meat. Always.
Interesting. Yeah. Haven't gone down that road a lot. I love, like Schwartz's smoked meat in Montreal, which I know is different than the Montreal's seasonings. I get that. But I've never done Montreal meat like what you're saying. I have the seasoning. So I've used it before, but not regularly, like on chicken.
Yeah, it's a steak. Daily occurrence. So.
Okay. I will have to try it.
How about you?
I will definitely have to.
Steak-wise? Or do you just go a little olive oil and just go right on the grill?
I'm a big believer in olive oil, fresh garlic, thyme.
Yep.
I some days I love a lot of if I want to do a Greek thing, oregano and onion and lemon. and then I let things marinate. You could do a shoe in that, and then put it on the grill, and it cooks perfectly. But you're right. You have to let it sit. I mean, especially if you can let it sit overnight.
Ooh, even better.
That's the key. The Coyle thing. I'm hoping. I'll fully admit, Razor. I'm hoping that he has just a great postseason, and something changes. I keep telling myself that it could happen. I need to see it. I do, and I fully admit again. I like the guy. I really like the guy.
Yeah.
I do, but this has been a tough year, a tough season for him.
It is a tough year, and he's at home, and it's a tough year, but it's a piping hot concern. And that's the reality of pro hockey. Like, we can't shake it. I mean, it's a piping hot, can't drink it, coffee concern.
Right. As we've said on this show and other shows, if that line gets going, watch out.
Yeah. And that's the beauty of it, because he can be a hero too. Like, it's not a loss. He's not. It's not a complete loss at this point. He can do a lot of damage still.
Yeah. All right. Just a couple of other guys as we wrap this one up. Kevin Miller played 19 minutes, 25 shifts, came back. I would say it was really good early on. I thought, like a lot of the team, it was a little rust and stuff for a while. Scored a goal late in the game. I don't know if I'd give him a hot cup, but I'd give him a pretty hot. I'd give him a nice cup of coffee for coming back. I would. A strong Joe.
Yeah.
Comes out. I'd heard he'd gone to the hospital. I didn't realize it was for more than just a visit. It was longer than that. It was a day to 2 days or so for the infection in his foot. That's scary stuff, man. Because those are the type of things all of a sudden you read about like somebody went to the hospital with this type of infection, and then something real bad happened. They were able to get it, and as he said post game, he's on some heavy antibiotics.
Yeah, and that stuff messes with your body on
good.
top of. I assume he was one of the ones that got a vaccine on Tuesday as well. So you got a bunch of stuff going on, and yeah, I mean, I've been in rooms where that.
Good question, Kent.
Yeah.
Yeah. Go ahead. You say you've been in
No,
rooms
where that infection stuff comes through the showers, and I mean, guys are gross to begin with. So you're dealing with that already, and the equipment and everything else. It's much better now, but with Kevin is a great example. It still happens, and that stuff gets in your blood. It's big trouble.
It can be. Yeah. No, you're right. But Taylor Hall, pretty good game. Had a real nice assist on Kampfer's goal, pushing the D back, doing what he does best. I have a hard time giving anybody a piping hot, a hot cup. I just do for the game. A lot of mental mistakes as it went on that turned into physical mistakes. And, it was a nice thrust at the end. The Ritchie goal, the Hall goal, which was after the Miller goal, which was a deflection by Ristolainen. I thought for sure, I really did. Once it was 5-4, I'm like, they're going to come back. They're going to tie it up because it's Buffalo they're playing. And then Pastrnak got the puck, had it burst off his stick. To me, that was a mental mistake by Pastrnak, not an actual, like his hands were. That was a mental mistake. Like he was thinking he was going to do something with it, just tried to backhand it right up the middle, and then Reinhart got it. But I don't know. I was hoping that Pastrnak, just like Coyle, was going to relish the opportunity to have two great games in a row. And I'm still concerned with Pasta. I am. I need to see more regular good stuff out of him. More hot brews out of him.
Agreed, and the team needs it. They need both of those guys if they're going to get all the way through. You can't not have those guys checking on. So again, tonight is one of those nights, and you would have loved to have seen them take advantage of the opportunity a little bit and to build momentum. But if they both go out and get a goal and assist each on Sunday afternoon at Pitt, that's their fallback. And to what we're talking about is, we want to see them do it every night, but they're both lucky enough where, as players, they have opportunities to build on that, and they can still be heroes at any time. They're just not doing it right now, and the team needs them to if they're going to get through this East Division.
No question. All right. Truth is, folks, we've probably given this game
way too
more
much
attention.
Oh yeah,
than
yeah. We could have been done this in a minute and a half. Yeah.
We could have. I don't know if that would have been fair to people, though, especially on the YouTube, getting to see you, sans hat, and that luscious hair. For everybody on YouTube, if you want to see my lack of hair, there we go. I took the hat off. So be jealous, Razor. Be very jealous. Listen, it's tighter, all right. Listen, let's hope that it happens. As Forrest Gump said, it happens, right?
No.
But the Bruins lose 6-4. Friday night, the Buffalo Sabres, they head Saturday, day off in Pitt. Sunday, 3 o'clock game on NBC. Razor and I will be back with you for another Morning Brew. After that game, we'll probably sit down and record that on Sunday evening, maybe even get it out a little bit early for you folks out there. The Bruins, again, in Pitt on Sunday. So, in the meantime, Saturday, if you're in the Boston area, it's supposed to be beautiful. While the result was crappy, enjoy the day, really enjoy your coffee, and have a wonderful weekend.